Have you ever felt heard? Like someone was truly listening to you? Okay, now I want you to think about a time where you felt unheard. Oh, yeah, I see a lot more nodding heads for that one, yeah. Yeah, when I ask people about a time they felt heard, maybe they can come up with a situation or two. But when I ask about a time they felt unheard, story upon story comes out about the many times they felt unheard. Maybe from a boss, a teacher, or even a friend or family member. You know, it's like they're just waiting for you to shut up so that they can say, oh yeah, you know what I think? But you know, we're all a little bit guilty of not listening at times, but it's okay. We really haven't been taught how to listen. It's not part of our culture to be present in a conversation and to express empathy. In school, we're taught for one method of communication. Speak only when you have the answer, the right answer, and quickly. I call this the I know complex. I know, because I suffer from it too. But we carry this on into our adult lives. So when we should be present in a conversation and listening, instead, we're in our own heads thinking of the next clever thing we're gonna say. But communication isn't just about speaking. Listening is just as important, if not more. Communication's an art. It's a gift for both the speaker and the listener. So how do we create environments where we can be genuine speakers and genuine listeners? Now, the need for listening and empathy is not a recent fascination of mine. In fact, it comes from early in my life. To be precise, from my ninja training. And by ninja training, I mean my ninja master, my older brother, Chris. And I would practice these secret ninja techniques, like climbing up trees, or hiding in garbage cans to avoid the bullies, or stealing money from our mom's coin tray to buy food, or packing stealthily in the middle of the night everything that we owned. Because my earliest memories are of us living in the car, night after night, parking lot after parking lot, truck stop to truck stop, state to state, for months on end. You see, my mom, she suffered from a mental illness. And while we know that she loved us so very much, and we loved her, she just couldn't be there to listen. So my brother and I played ninja, as much of a fun fantasy as it was a way to cope. I remember this one time, I was about 9 years old, and we were staying on top of a furniture store at the time. And we would play on the roof at night. And on the top of the roof, it was a 3-story drop into a paved parking lot below on one side. And on the other side, a 1-story jump into the soft grass. Our mission? To master the ninja jump. So we crawled out on the roof, and Chris says, my ninja master says, jump! But I couldn't. I just squatted on the edge of the roof. He runs back inside, comes back with a bed sheet, and he says, ninjas use parachutes. Okay! So I pick it up, steady my stance. 1, 2, 3, jump! Bam! I land on my butt. And before I could say anything, Chris screams down, ninjas never give up! Need a better parachute! Okay! I ran around the furniture store, up 3 flights of stairs, back onto the roof, this time inspired by my favorite childhood movie, Mary Poppins. This time with an umbrella, yes. Okay, 1, 2, 3, jump! Now, Mary Poppins would have gone up, up, up. I went down, down, crack. Went my ankle. My ninja master jumps down. Chris scoops me up in his 13-year-old arms, runs around the furniture store, up 3 flights of stairs. I am crying. And he says, shh, You don't want mom to hear you. And I crawl past mom's room into mine, all alone in the world, save my Barbie doll. And Barbie, she's so perfect, you know, that perfect face, perfect blue eyes. And I say to Barbie, 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 my ankle hurts and I can't tell anyone. And Barbie, with her perfect smile, does ding. No, Barbie, you don't understand. I can't tell anyone, not even my mom. Ding. Oh, I got so angry, I threw that Barbie in the back of my closet, never to play with her again. Because I knew she would always project that fake smile on me. She would never really listen. She couldn't understand how I felt. And maybe it was that realization that later on in my life brought me on the journey to Japan, the land of the ninja, to teach communications at a major university. And at the same time, on a long shot, I auditioned for the English voice of Hello Kitty. I got so curious about this personification of a cat. What is it about Hello Kitty that makes little girls all around the world, but not just little girls, even grown women, wear Hello Kitty accessories and Hello Kitty t-shirts and cook toast and Hello Kitty toasters? I just had to know. And so for 2 weeks straight, I studied VHS tape after VHS tape. This is before DVDs and streaming videos. And then I finally hit it. Why? Everyone loves her. What's the difference between my Barbie doll as a little girl and Hello Kitty? Well, what does Hello Kitty look like? Okay, so let's imagine together. Okay, in her hair, she has a ribbon, yeah. She has 2 ears and 2 eyes, and she has whiskers and a nose and a mouth. Actually, Hello Kitty has no mouth. She has no fixed expression, and this is deliberate. You see, Hello Kitty feels what you're feeling. She reflects it back. So when you're feeling sad, Hello Kitty feels sad. When you feel happy, Hello Kitty feels happy. That's right. Ah, what a magical thing. So today I'm going to share with you a technique that I've created after spending half of my life in America and the other half here in Japan, called How to Listen So People Can Speak. Or you can call it Hello Kitty listening. And it has 3 simple techniques. 1, listen with genuine curiosity, acknowledge, and create space. So let's start with technique number 1. Listen with genuine curiosity. What does that mean? Listen with genuine curiosity. Dogs, cats, man's best friend. They listen with genuine curiosity. Let me tell you about my cat, Nadia. Oh, Nadia, she's so cute. When I come home, I can hear her go running down the stairs. I'm like, I'm home, and she's like, no. So cute. And I think, Nadia, I need to make dinner. Wow. She leads me into the kitchen. It's bedtime. No. So funny, she has the same intonation. And she leads me upstairs. And I feel heard. And when you feel heard, you feel loved. But how can you create this in a human conversation without having to say meow? You can do something very simple. You can consciously decide, just like you are right now, to listen with genuine curiosity. You can think to yourself, what does this person have to share? What makes them tick? And breathe into what they're saying. Think of it as mindful, meditative listening. Meow? Okay, let's move on to technique number 2, which is acknowledge. Oh, and I gotta tell you, I love Japanese department stores. And it's not because I love shopping, because I don't, but it's because they make you feel like royalty. Let me show you what I mean. Ohayou gozaimasu. Irashaimase. I just love that every time. You have to go to the department store first thing in the morning. It's awesome. Red carpet. But oh, I love it. Anyways, so what they're doing is amazing. You know, of all the things that you could do that morning, you went to their department store to shop. And they acknowledge that with a bow. And bowing in Japan shows humility and respect. You bow your head, you fill your heart with love and joy. But you know, we do a version of bowing across cultures. Do you know what that is? That's right, nodding. A nod is a mini bow. And research shows that if you nod 3 times at regular intervals, the partner you're speaking with will open up and share 3 to 4 times more. Isn't that cool? Right? And oh, my goodness. So there's another way that you can acknowledge, which is through aizuchi. And aizuchi is Japanese for frequent interjections. It's when you mini bow, nod your head, and you say, oh yeah, uh-huh, oh really, I see. And while aizuchi are not uniquely Japanese, Japanese use aizuchi 2.6 times more than English speakers. Go ahead and say, oh really? And so, you know, and it's amazing. You can use this in your everyday conversation. So let's say you're talking with your partner, and your partner says, oh, I had a bad day. You can say, oh, you had a bad day? Yes, and I missed the train. Oh, you missed the train. Simple as that. I like to call this the listen and repeat technique. And no, this is not English class. But you know, my partner Yuji and I, we use this in all of our conversations and all of our communication. And not just for speaking. We also use it when texting. And it goes a little something like this. I have a headache. I have a headache. You have a headache too? I meant you have a headache. To which I gotta say, oh, darling, you can't just copy and paste. You gotta at least change the pronouns. But Yuji has become amazing at this. I still need a lifetime to practice. But you can try it too. All right, and the third technique we'll share today is create space. And when we mean create space, you might be thinking physically, and you can. Nobel Peace Prize nominee of 2008, Tatsuya Yoshioka, he founded the Peace Boat. He wanted to create a space where people could come together for mutual understanding, respect, a borderless world free of stereotypes. And there's been a long-standing historical conflict between China and Japan. And he created a space so that 2 former military veteran from China, military veteran from Japan, came together to talk. And they listened, and they heard each other. And as a result, they became great friends. Now, you might not have a peace boat, but you can also create space verbally through open-ended questions like what, why, how, the typical writing ones. But here's another magical phrase. Simple. Tell me more. Tell me more is this magical phrase that opens up space for the person speaking to share more. But here's the catch. It also opens up space for you as the listener to understand what your partner truly wants. That is magical. But you might be thinking, oh, Soness, what about my need to express? I got my own problems. How is just listening going to help me? Boy, do I understand that one. Buddhist monk and activist Thich Nhat Hanh, he says, listening is a very deep practice. When you are shown your capacity for listening and understanding, the other person will begin to understand you. And you have a chance to tell him or her of your pain. And it's your turn to be healed. This is the practice of peace. Basically, listening is the basis for any true conversation. In order to speak so others will listen, you first have to listen so others can speak. At the end of the day, I'm not a communication expert. I'm a communications practitioner. And I didn't go into this field because I'm awesome at communications. In fact, it is my biggest life challenge, and I fail daily. Recently, I gave a talk about how to listen, and I talked about my mom's mental illness. Now, my mom, she's 85 years old, and she's never going to see this talk. But I could just imagine if she did. So, out of integrity, I had to call her up. She doesn't have the internet, so she'll never see it. I said, Mom, I gave a talk, and I talked a little bit about mental illness and your struggle, and I have this theory. Maybe life wouldn't have been such a struggle for you if, as a child, you had felt heard. Someone had listened to you. And my mom went silent. I just thought, oh, she's going to say, what? You told the whole entire world I'm crazy? But she didn't. And I heard her cry. And she told me, as a little girl growing up during the Great Depression, in an age where children, especially little girls, should be seen and not heard. And she was full of curiosity, intelligence, and vivaciousness. That she was told time and time again to shut up. You are crazy. And she began to tell me story after story, hour after hour, of all the times in her life she had been told she was crazy. And she talked for hours, and I just listened. And at the end of the conversation, she said to me, Soness, for the first time in my life, I feel heard. And for me, it was the first time I felt truly connected with my mom. Listening is love. Imagine if we could take a moment to listen with genuine curiosity, acknowledge others, and create a space for others to speak, and be there to listen. How we could change our relationships with our families, our friends, our colleagues, maybe even achieve world peace. You know, listening is love, and you have given me the greatest gift of all, your love. Thank you for listening.